People say, well, as a track designer, if they're giving you them all these tools, are you worried about, your job or this or that? And it's like, no, let them go crazy with it. That's why we made this thing.
The special sauce of this game is basically kart racing and user-generated content brought together. So you've got this endless amount of tracks.
Track Studio was sort of right at the core from the beginning of how do we make this amazing experience of building a track, make it fun, not make it feel like work, but like play.
Early on, we made the decision, our artists are going to use the same tools as the users. We're not going to cheat. We're not going to make it so that, oh yeah, here's a editor that can build tracks, and then we're doing our own stuff on the side.
We don't really have anything that the consumer's not going to have, which was terrifying for us at first.
We've got to believe so much in this editor that we feel like we can make world-class tracks that will ship with the game, and it's the exact same tool that everyone else is going to use.
There's something really cool about that, to be able to say, we build all of our tracks that we're packaged up and give to you, and now you can do the same thing.
And that, really put a huge wrench in terms of development and a lot of challenges, but we're so glad we made that decision because it really pushed the editor and it pushed us and our creativity on how to make this editor accessible yet powerful enough for our professional track designers.
Track Studio for us, we have a lot of studios, we have a lot of creation tools, but that was the one that had to work. The group that were working on the Track Studio blew everyone's mind. They worked really hard and very quickly got a prototype going.
Christmas 2 years ago was the first time we had something that we knew was going to work. We were pretty excited to see the first playable with actual collision geometry that we could drive karts on.
To have that discipline that our interface has to be easy enough for anyone to use, but also advanced enough for our own developers was a really interesting challenge.
Well, the most basic thing is just driving out the road. That was, I think, one of the biggest steps forward we made, is rather than putting in like individual jigsaw pieces of track.
Tools that work tend to emerge real quickly, and then once we know that those are solid kind of ideas, we build on them.
It's all using simple, basic tools to create the overall world. But then we step it up by having all of the editing tools that you can go in and noodle with every little part.
The first time I think anyone goes in and grabs a terrain brush and just brings up the mountains, there's a holy, insert word here.
You can bring up a dialogue and just adjust all kinds of things, like how often things will happen. You can hook them up to triggers of various kinds. You can shoot this trigger and the stomper will stomp. The tool's great because it's easy to just kind of let it lead you and still come up with something fun. But there's no doubt the best tracks that we've built in-house, whether it's from the track designers or from the rest of the team, is when someone just has one core idea and they just push it.
As far as the world experience, we built a whole bunch of pieces that we would like in a world.
I definitely like the ones that have lots of elevation. We have a lot of tracks with some great jumps in there.
I'm kind of known for making the tracks that booby trap everyone into going off in the wrong direction.
Right now, just putting some tweaks on the Marina track. That has a huge drop right before the finish line, which is a lot of fun.
In order for you to kind of get a feel for a good track, play the tracks we ship with the game. Like just play them through, see how we build tracks. That's a great starting point. With our remix tool, being able to take those tracks and remix them.
If you look at one of the tracks I've made and you say, you know what, Mark, I think this would be better if we took out this jump and put in a different moment instead. We give you the power to do that.
The last couple of days we've been going online and seeing all the creations people have been making, and it's kind of amazing.
We thought we'd make these great tracks and they would be the sort of, #1 tracks, but even after seeing some of the things that the community has made in our public beta, it's just blowing our minds.
People are using the tools in areas and ways that we didn't originally anticipate, but we definitely wanted people to wow us.
If you're going to spend 10 hours creating a track, and it's going to be as complicated as one of our tracks is, people are going to get 100,000, 200,000, 1 million downloads on that track. That's when we know that we nailed it.
We made the karting for sure, and we made the tools, but I think they're going to own the tracks. They're going to own the worlds that you talk about it.
PlayStation